Have we been live the whole time?
We're live right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the chaos that is the Tea Podcast. Obviously, I'm just a hot mess this morning.
That sounded like Christmas music going on there.
That was my intro. That's what I get people set up with. All right, so if you're just now joining us, this is the Tea Podcast. We have upgraded our sound for you guys, so hopefully we sound better and, whatever. Today we got a great episode. We have local business owners Jamie and Rusty Phillips, who are the owners of the Bougie Bar and Bourbon Royalty Candle Company, right?
Yes.
I have the okay.
Yeah, you got it right.
This morning I was like, Royalty Bourbon. It's not that. I had to look at it. So so with that, this is the tea. Yeah, that is my intro there. We're trying to be fancy here.
I like it.
All right, so Jamie, Rusty, welcome to again the chaos that is this show that I have.
Yes.
Well, thanks for having us.
So for those listening that are just now tuning in, this is Rusty and Jamie. They own the Bougie Bar. They own the Royalty Bourbon Royalty. God, I'm gonna get it. Bourbon Royalty Candle Company in Lafayette. They're doing big things. So real quick, just kind of introduce yourselves and kind of who you are, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about your early days of your lives in business and trying to figure out life. So Jamie, if you want to go first.
Sure. So Jamie Phillips. So I started in the making candles back in 2008. So it's been a long time in dabbling in wax and fragrance oil. Outside of I call it the candle world, I do have a professional job. I work for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana in their cybersecurity department. So busy person.
So Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Yes.
So how in the world do you own multiple businesses and you have full-time jobs?
We have a good team at both of our established businesses. We have, a full warehouse with a team that can basically run the warehouse without us there. Our team at the Bougie Bar does a great job, our management, and hopefully we'll have the same in Baton Rouge when we open there.
Geez, and yeah, you have that Baton Rouge store that's coming
Yep.
up. I mean, that right there, that is just a lot of, what do they call that in the country? Irons on the skillet or something like that?
Yes, it is. It
a
is.
lot.
And I always say that's why I have no hair, because we have so much going on.
And how old are you?
I'm 32.
You're 32? Okay.
32.
Well, it's probably, it's the stress.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So, but it's fun. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was a little kid, always just doing things to try and find ways to make money. I've just always had that entrepreneurial blood. So,
Okay. Since 2008, making candles, huh?
yes.
All right.
Time.
Yeah. And Rusty, glad to have you on, man. Tell us a little bit about you and kind of, obviously there was a life before you met Jamie. So kind of tell us a little bit about you and kind of your path to where you are today in the shortest form, I guess you can.
Yeah. So firstly, candle making was not in my blood.
Right. I didn't think so, because if it did, like, wow, what a match.
So I'm actually a social worker by profession. So I've been a social worker since 2001. Majority of my career has been in management, working in mental health facilities, hospitals, and addiction treatment facilities.
Wow.
So got into candle making by meeting Jamie. It started like weekends hanging out. Oh, by the way, we have to go make some candles.
Jeez. All right. So when did you, I don't know if you mentioned it, when did you meet Jamie?
I think it was like around 2012 or 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
So within the past 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so where did y'all meet?
So we had mutual friends. We knew each other
Yeah.
through our social circles.
And at the time, I
Um,
was in Baton Rouge.
he lived
I
in
would lived
Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
was
that's
here in
where
Lafayette.
the candle business was born, originally in Baton Rouge.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. What got so were you always in Lafayette? Where are you originally from again?
So I'm from Melville, if you know where that's
No,
at.
I do not.
You do
I
not.
do
So
not.
this is how I always say. I always start with Opelousas,
Okay.
Port Barre,
Yep.
Krotz Springs.
Okay.
Take a left at the Chaffalaya River and go down 12 miles.
Wow. So you're in the boonies.
Yes, so lived, born and raised there. I stayed there for even through college. So I completed my master's degree, commuted to Baton Rouge every day. So when people talk about commutes and traffic, that was an hour and 10 drive one way every day.
I'd
Wow.
never do it. I could
Wow.
never do it. Mm-mm.
Well, before we get too deep into the conversation, so I do have a couple of sponsors, and you already know I have to give shouts out to
course.
them. So the first one is the Music Academy of Acadiana. They're Acadiana's top choice for music lessons in piano, guitar, voice, drums, violin, audio production, which that would probably come in handy with this, trying to get all this set up. Thankfully, I have a friend named Carter who is starting a podcast network for Acadiana. He helped me get this set up, and he's letting me use a fancy mixer to get all this fancy technology set up so that we can sound better. So the Music Academy, they are founded locally by Tim Benson, who is a University of Louisiana at Lafayette Music School graduate. The Academy has been voted as a top finalist in the Best Music School Award, Best Music School by Readers of the Times of Acadiana since 2016. And they won so many other awards. I mean, it's too many to list, and the owner is too humble to even want to list that. He's a great guy, local musician, so he is living the dream and his passion. They actually have an in-house studio, which they record tons of big names, local big names, not like Carrie Underwood, but there's actually a guy, God, who's the musician from New Iberia, Justin Champon? Are you familiar? So he is a country rapper, kind of, country hip-hop, and like he got signed on to a big decent label, and like it's a big contract, like it was big news. So he records there, which is great. I don't know if that's still the case at this point, but still he was recording there all of his music that got him to where he is. So their goal is to make music lessons fun, educational, and to help foster the next generation of musicians and creative thinkers. You can check them out at musicacademyacadiana.com, and you can see the logo on the screen and the website. And then finally, we have The Orchard, who is the local Apple authorized service provider in the area. They are a locally owned company. They are our tech sponsor. They provided some of the equipment to help us run this as well, because you need equipment. So they're locally owned. Like I said, they fix anything that's Apple related to the specs of Apple. So they check all the boxes. They have 2 stores locally, one next to Buffalo Wild Wings on Ambassador, and then another one by Super One Foods in Karen Crow. Go check them out. They do in-home and in-office networking as well. So their website, theorchardstores.com. And we appreciate them. All righty. So let's kind of dive in a little bit more to the early days, I guess, of how you guys started the company. So you guys met around 2012, 2013.
Yes.
You were over there just pouring wax, whatever. I mean, like, like what? Okay, first of all, what was the fascination with candles?
So I think it really started. My sister had made candles for a while there, and then stopped, and she had a candle kit, and so, I was like, well, I could turn this into some money. So I took the candle kit and ordered a few extra supplies, and then just started dabbling in it and making the candles and started selling them to my coworkers. So I started in a little 8-ounce jelly jar, and I sold them for $30. a piece.
Wow.
So I'm not really certain how he sold that, an 8-ounce candle
Because
in
I
a
was
jelly
young
jar for
and
$30.
women loved me when I was young. Because I was the cute little boy selling candles, probably. So yeah, I started selling the little 8-ounce jelly jars for $30.
$30.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like,
And it just, I took that money and then just kept buying more supplies and more jars and more wax and making more candles and selling more candles. And then I think it was right around 2012 is whenever we got into Red Door Interiors, which is a big retailer, or was a big retailer in Baton Rouge. So she was really our first wholesale customer that kind of launched our brand, Aaron, with Red Door. So we went into that as Ambiance Candle Company, which was our first brand. And then we realized, we had a potential for growth. So that name was already trademarked and taken. So we really couldn't expand our footprint or our brand under that name. So that's when in 2013 we decided to rebrand as Bourbon Royalty Candle Company.
and so Bourbon Royalty, was that still in Baton Rouge?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was still in Baton Rouge. We had our warehouse in Baton Rouge was about 300 square feet.
So let's just call it a room.
It was
It's
basically
not
a room.
warehouse.
It's probably not that much bigger than where we're sitting in at this moment.
It was tiny.
It was very tiny. We were actually just leasing, or not even leasing. We were renting a room from a friend of mine who had an embroidery business in North Baton Rouge, and so it worked for where we were at that point in time with our business. So
Okay.
you had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's where we started.
All right. So, so the candle room, the small little shop. When did you have that? Did you have that whenever you met Rusty?
Yes.
Yes. So the production site, if you will, was already set up. And so, as businesses evolve, so it went from a hobby to, I think we can, do something with this. So branding took place. Our first sales rep, who's still with us, Sherry Spikes, started in Louisiana with us. So moved in, branded, started making candles, and met Sherry. She told us about a regional show, a wholesale show in Biloxi. So I remember we packed up the van and packed up probably everything we had in the warehouse and went set up for this wholesale show in Biloxi, which is nice because it's a regional market. And at that time with our branding, we were very heavy with the Louisiana theme, colors, Bourbon Royalty. Can't get much more Louisiana than that. And so that was a fun experience because you have store owners coming in looking for product. So, of course, we're there, we'd never sold to anybody. I thought, well, we got to figure out how to do this. So,
yeah, you can't sell 8-ounce candles for $30 with them.
Exactly. It doesn't quite work that way,
there.
right? So, I tell this story all the time. I literally would stand in the middle of the aisle and I would just start talking to people.
That's what you got to do.
They were walking.
Yeah.
And so the spiel was I would talk, reel them in, and Jamie would start selling. And if I could talk enough, I would try to upsell them and, to get, our opening order was maybe $200 or $300 at that time. So for us, it was exciting because, any business owner or entrepreneur, you have a product that you're invested in and you want people to like it and you're hoping that they like it. And so,
yeah, it's a shot in the gut if they don't.
So, and our brand has been revised and hopefully gotten better over the course of about 3 different versions of it. I look back then, I thought, wow, I don't know how people bought these candles.
What?
But isn't that kind of how life is? Like you're at a certain point in life and you're like, oh, this is really nice. And then you look back, a year from then go, wow, that was interesting. Look at the growth that has gone.
I call it the lookbook. Yeah. So it's a binder of all of our, sales materials, our labels, our catalogs, everything that we've had in the past. And so you can see how everything has evolved. And I always, every once in a while, I'll just flip through it and I'll just scratch my head like Rusty said and be like, what were we thinking?
It has been an evolution,
But
I can
it
tell
really
you.
has been an evolution. So it's always interesting to see. And then in our warehouse, you know, we have several walls of pictures in our warehouse, you know, that kind of shows the evolution of our product and, you know, where it started, where it is today. So it's an interesting look.
Yeah. But I have a question, but we have a comment from
Okay.
a Jim Kinsel. He says, he says, awesome company and owners.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
I don't
Jim.
know if y'all
Thanks.
know
I
him.
think,
Okay.
yeah, I think Jim is one of our neighbors.
Oh, it could be.
Putting y'all on the spot.
That's okay.
There you
Okay.
go.
I think he's one of our neighbors.
Awesome. So my question was, and this popped into my head, and it kind of stems back to the $30 for 8 ounces.
Okay.
Okay. Have you guys ever felt this terminology, the imposter syndrome?
Sure. You know, so as a social worker, I can talk about that from that, and also as a business owner. You know, we go in as a social worker, we are working with people, working with feelings and thoughts, and you know, people look at you to know something, and it's easy to have imposter syndrome because you don't feel like you're good enough, know enough, have enough experience. It's the same thing, I think, with the business. You know, sitting out there at our first market, going, "Oh, are we really doing this? Are we good enough to do this? Are they gonna smell when people burn them?" You know,
Yeah.
literally. Like, I hope that we know that it works, but when you get into a new environment that you haven't been in, you start having those imposter syndrome, or you know, that self-doubt creeps in. So what we've learned to do is just rely on history. So when we move into a new area and we start selling in that area, people will always go, you know, "Well, are your candles good?" No, they're not good. We've been in
They're
business
terrible.
for 10 years. They're
Yeah.
terrible. You know, and so we'll make a joke of that and go back to, I mean, we have a really good record of sales, and not just initial sales, but reorders and expansions. So when you start feeling imposter syndrome, you just got to go back and stand on what you know is true.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I've had to do that several times. Just kind of take a step back, look at the business, and kind of put the thoughts of questioning in the back of my mind. You know, everything is working. We have a product that people obviously love. So kind of push the doubt aside. Yeah.
Okay. So going back to pricing now, where are you guys? Where are
Versus
you
what it
guys in
used to be.
pricing?
Our pricing structure has changed a lot.
Well,
and-
and primarily because when we initially started, and I can talk about the initial part of it, and he can pick up the second, is we poured candles in jars. So just like any other candle maker, we had a status jar with a glass lid, and I think we were selling that 12-ounce candle for probably wholesale $12 or $13. When we last sold that jar, we were selling it for $8. So
Okay.
just like expenses, you know, when you can't buy in volume, it costs more.
Right.
But how our structure has changed, Jamie can talk about how the business changed when we went from jars to pouring in different containers, which totally changed our business and price structure as well.
Yeah, so whenever we brought in, you know, we started in the glass, but when we brought in our pottery containers that we pour in now, like Rusty said, it completely flipped our business, and we probably, you know, 90% of our candles now are poured in pottery containers instead of your normal glass.
Like ceramics and
Ceramic,
stuff like that.
yeah, it's all ceramic containers, and then we have four different variations right now of different ceramics that we pour in, all with different sizes. So, I mean, our wholesale prices range anywhere from, you know, $3.75 for one of our products all the way up to, I think our most expensive item
Wholesale is
at
$28.
wholesale is about $28.
So
Okay.
when you think retail, that would be
It was just,
2.25 that
double.
time or something
Yeah.
like that. So most expensive retail product will range around 65.
Yeah.
You know, we have some locations in Texas that will sell that candle for around $80. So it just depends on
And
basically the
container,
customer
though,
base in the
that it's in,
container.
I mean, it's in a, you know, it's a 36-ounce candle. It's triple wicked. It's in a very pretty gold container. So, some places, like Red said, kind of depends on the clientele of the store and where it's at as to, how much they can really push and what they can get for that particular candle.
So are you talking about the most expensive candle at the moment?
Yeah.
So that was a $28 one. It's a 3-wick, you said,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
How heavy is it?
36, that is 3 pounds.
About 3.5 pounds.
No. I'm thinking inches, 12 inches.
So
16 ounces in a pound.
It's about 3 pounds.
3 pounds.
I guess, so to compare it with the big candle company that everybody knows about nationally, Bath and Body Works, I think it is. I get it confused with Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah.
What is the size there? Is that a...
So their candles, I want to say, are 16 ounces, like their normal glass candle that has 1 or 2 or 3 wicks in it. I think it's about 16 ounces.
Okay.
I want to say.
So since we're on that topic, I want to let people kind of get a comparison of what your candles are compared to Bath and Body Works, because look, my wife and I, whenever Bath and Body Works has a sale,
you got to stock up.
Let me tell you, we have to go.
Yeah.
And me being a straight guy, I love smelling candles, and I don't care how it looks. Whenever I'm in there, I just grab a candle and I'm like, just all up in it.
So, what I tell people all the time, we burn Bath and Body Works candles. We'll buy them occasionally and burn them. They're great candles. They smell great. Look at their company. They're a national chain. And so the reason why you can go in there and get those great deals is because of their volume and purchasing power.
I mean, the volume.
So
mass production.
As a product, it is great. I mean, that's an aspiration to reach that level of business. What we tell people is that we're a boutique company. So even though we've grown a lot, and we can talk about that expansion, but today we're in 16 states, a little over 700 accounts. That's a long ways away from Baton Rouge and 300 square feet. Right. The difference for us is that we make we like to think of it as a unique boutique style candle that can be curated, into different markets. So that's the biggest difference when it comes to it. But as far as the candle, it's a great candle. There's difference in product. All right.
As well. Yeah, that's what I was going to touch on.
Yeah, and Jamie can talk about that. He knows a lot more about it than I do, but
like that.
There's definitely a difference in it.
Yeah, we got the candle guy here.
Yeah.
He's going to tell us what it's made out of.
The jelly jar guy.
A lot of your larger companies that you see in the big box stores, most of the time their candles will be what we call a soy wax blend. So that's basically when they start mixing soy wax with a paraffin wax. And so paraffin wax is made from the same byproducts of diesel fuel.
So petroleum product, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and paraffin wax is a little bit cheaper. So that's sometimes how those, larger retailers can get those price points down on their candles and still advertise it as a soy blend, because everybody wants an eco-friendly candle. And so they, will sometimes use the soy blend aspect to sell it that way, when in turn it really has 95% paraffin wax in the product itself.
95%. So only 5% is soy.
Now we don't know.
We don't know that.
Okay, so
specifics of it, right?
We're not making a claim. We're just example.
But that's an example. So at Bourbon Royalty and even at the Bougie Bar, our wax we use is 100% soy wax. So all of our soy wax comes from soybeans that are farmed in the U.S. So it goes back to supporting local U.S. farmers. So we don't put any additives or dyes or anything in our candles. It's just 100% soy wax.
So your candles are all the same color as far as the wax goes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
we decided early on coloring candles is not our thing. Because, you can use powder or liquid dyes.
Or
if it's
even
not
chips.
Or even chips. Yeah. If it's not exactly the same, there's variation to the color. And it's
Frosting.
Just, for us, it's a nightmare. So we go with,
just
a nice
keep it easy.
Cream colored white candle. We go with fun containers, upscale containers, and that, really makes a difference for us.
Yeah,
so.
and then you have labels of what they should smell like.
Yeah, so everything is, packaged accordingly to what fragrance it is.
Okay.
Like that.
What about these scents? So how are these scents, I guess, sourced, and like, are they eco-friendly, or does that even matter with scents? I
It
don't know.
does.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jamie can talk about how he came up with them. I'll jump to the other question of, so fragrances, and I'm forgetting the oversight body that kind of manages how fragrances are put in candles or detergents or room sprays. There's a whole oversight association that does that. And so like our fragrance oils are all phthalate free. I think it's phosphite free. Things that could potentially be harmful for you. I guess the federal government with the association has made these guidelines that in the past couple years, they had to be free of these type of ingredients. The majority of our fragrances, even before this became a thing, were already following those guidelines. Because if we're making a truly eco-friendly candle, we can't put a fragrance oil in that has, ingredients in it that's not really like that. Now, we're not essential oils.
Okay.
All right? That's a whole
You're not
different
Young's
category.
Living or something like that.
I mean,
right?
That's a whole different.
If we
caliber
did
of
that,
oils.
that candle right there would probably be about a $30 wholesale candle.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right,
So
because essential oils
are very
is
expensive.
much more expensive.
Yeah, so essential oils like lavenders and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like stuff that's supposed to have healing properties, so to speak. Not
And
making
so-
any claims.
And so some of our fragrance oils may have essential oils blended into them, but our oils are not 100% essential oils.
Okay. So Jamie put a bottle on the table. It is just casually put a bottle on the
Casually
table.
pulled the bottle out. I had to bring you a gift.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I appreciate that. I never expect it, but I love it. Okay, so this is the Bourbon Royal Candle Company. The scent. This is a room spray. It's Zydeco Amber. What is Zydeco Amber supposed to smell like?
So Zydeco Amber has a lot of, amber, obviously.
Okay.
Some oak moss, Egyptian amber, and Rusty really doesn't like this word, but in the fragrance world, we use it. It's called musk. So
I
So
know.
I really just don't like that word, right? But there's musk in almost every
It's-
fragrance,
yeah.
even in colognes and stuff that you have. I'm like, can we call it something else?
I know. It's like
Because-
using the word moist.
Yes.
it
Oh
is.
my
It
God.
is.
I've
Yeah.
tried to use other words in place of moist, and it doesn't work. Like, I want a good wet cake. Like, you don't do
you have
that.
to use that word. So Zydeco Amber is one of our more masculine fragrances that we have.
Okay.
And it's, definitely one of our top sellers.
So do I use this similar to like Febreze? Just kind of
Yeah.
spray it in the air.
freshener, You can
Okay.
spray your vehicles with it.
Awesome.
You can wear it as a body splash if you would like.
Really? Okay,
Whatever you
okay.
want to do.
And-
Almost, whatever.
Almost. So
Don't
and
drink
then
it.
Within reason, just don't drink
Don't
it,
drink
all
it.
right?
Please read the full warning before.
darn, that was the first thing that I was gonna do. Is I was gonna take a big old swig of it.
When we talk about bougie, we can talk about drinking fragrance
Oh,
oils
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But we came across our fragrances. We did not want to necessarily have food smells, like apple smells.
Yeah, I mean,
like that
that's-
type of stuff. Of course, we do have a few, like king cake. You have to have because it's Louisiana. Our signature fragrance, which is Queen of Bourbon, has some like bourbon and rum flavors in it. But we don't have traditional food smells when it comes to candles. And I think that's really what helped us set ourselves apart from a lot of candle makers that was kind of on the same playing field that we were. When people would smell our product, they would say, oh, it's, it doesn't smell like, well, it's not supposed to,
It
right?
doesn't smell like food.
Right. It doesn't smell like food.
Okay.
So,
And that's what Bath and Body Works has a lot of.
yeah.
Like apple pie,
yeah.
pumpkin, cinnamon. I mean,
We
all
knew we
that.
couldn't compete with that, right? Even as a small business, you can't compete when somebody has that type of business already set up. So just like any other business, you're looking for where's our spot? Where's our market that we can kind of start creating a playing field that we can, be productive and feel like we're actually being successful at. And so today, I mean, I think when we started, you had, 12 fragrances?
I think it was 12.
12. And
I
so
have to go back to
yeah.
the lookbook. and
today we
The
have
lookbook.
in our main line, we have, including fall and Christmas, we have 26 fragrances. And then we also do a side line called Southern Gentleman, which has 6 fragrances in it as well. So, we've adapted and increased as we've gone.
Yeah. So I'm making sure I recall what you said earlier. You're in 16 states.
Yes.
And 700 stores.
Yeah. So that did not happen overnight.
No.
Obviously.
No, it did not.
Our first store, as Jamie said, was Red Door Interiors. It was a really fun experience there, learning how to go from retailing a candle yourself to a wholesale cost, because that's a different price structure. Meeting Sherry, who initially just walked us through the state of Louisiana and got us into a lot of her key accounts. And so that was beneficial for us. The regional show opened us up to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida area. And so that's kind of how we grew. We started doing temporary shows in Dallas World Trade Center. Anybody that has a product, you want to sell it, you go pay a lot of money to set up a little 10 by 10 booth.
I was excited the first year we went. Yeah. We were next to Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah. Really? And like the legit
Elf on the Shelf.
And I always remember that I took a selfie with their Elf on the Shelf. And about 3 hours after I took the selfie, I got a message saying, please take the photo down, because the product in the photo hadn't been released to the general public yet.
Dude, you're outing a company.
They were just there like pre-selling it during the market. And so it's very interesting to see, like Russ said, anything that you could ever imagine are in those buildings.
Yeah.
So just to be next to that brand, kind of our first time at market,
that's huge.
It was a fun experience for us. So, because whenever you go to these shows, you start making friends with all these business owners, and even other candle companies that are there at these shows, and they're kind of starting how you once started, and just sharing tips and tricks and resources and stuff like that. So we don't all hate each other.
Well, that is a great segue to kind of what I wanted to mention now is there a candle community? Like, is kind of, there's Facebook groups, all this good stuff. Like, do you guys play like fantasy candle? You go to someone's house and like...
Well, we haven't done that, but I tell you what we have done in coming up with fragrances. There have been many evenings at our house with fragrances. Wine may or may not have been included, where we just start taking fragrances and mixing them. With
that's
our
dangerous,
friends.
right?
Yeah, it could be dangerous, or it could be good. So that's how Zydeco Amber came about.
And a lot of our Christmas
fragrances
as well
came out like that as well.
That's really cool.
Yes, there's associations. There's a National Candle Association. All the big players are in that. So, your huge national brands, basically it's their association. In fact, it's in New Orleans this year, so we may try to go to it this year. But
this year.
Other than that,
Make our big appearance.
Yeah.
Right? Dude,
there's Facebook groups and stuff like that,
All right, so you said make your big appearance, and it can make me think of the past couple of years. Nobody's been making too many big appearances because you didn't really want to intermingle with people too much. I feel like that's starting to relax a little bit more. How did the pandemic affect you guys? Did it affect you guys any, or like what did that look like?
So.
Well, what it looked like initially when we had to close our business.
Yeah, it wasn't a pretty look on me, because I was very stressed, especially when we had to shut Bougie Bar down just after opening.
Oh yeah, and that is
just like every other business did,
and that's an in-person thing.
Yes.
You can't make candles virtually.
No. So as far as Bourbon Royalty goes, I honestly think we still grew through the pandemic by what?
About 35%.
35%. So we had a growth of 35% through.
Was it mostly online?
We did do a lot of online sales, but even our wholesale to B2B, so selling to other businesses, because I think everybody realized during the pandemic that we really needed to buckle down and support small businesses. So even though those small businesses may have not had their doors open, they had online sales. They were selling our product in their stores. So, our sales increased. So we were very thankful for that.
It increased, but we also saw that first month with no sales. So as soon as it happened,
Yeah.
the world as we knew it
That's
Yeah.
scary.
came to a
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
We
Like,
pressure washed our floors in
Yeah.
our warehouse.
so we were
we was
pretty.
cleaning. We cleaned everything.
The first thing we said, we had a little bit smaller team at that time. I said we have to keep our people working. I mean,
Mhm.
they're dependent on their paychecks. So what can we do? Well, we can clean the warehouse. So we literally took the time to do all of the projects that we wanted to
All
do.
the honeydews.
Yeah.
All the honeydews for the business. I mean, we literally pressure washed the inside of the warehouse, was scrubbing wax where we didn't even realize wax had fallen, re-inventoried, organized, reorganized. And then, then a shop owner would call and say, hey, I'm trying to stay afloat. So I got people coming to what we're doing is they place an order over the phone and I leave it outside the door for them. Can I get some candles for y'all? I can't order a lot. Sure. What do you need? And that's kind of what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was scary, but it ended up being a good thing, business wise, meaning we shut down, but then grew by 35%. So
Wow.
I mean, it just worked out.
You can't complain about that.
You couldn't
And we
complain
also
about it
were
at all.
able, like Russ said, our team was smaller back then, but we were able to continue to employ everybody. We didn't have to let anybody go. So which is a big thing to me. I'm excited that we had the means to do that.
Yeah, you want to
We
be
were
good local
able-
business owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we live. We, Jamie and I did all of this ourselves up until 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we literally both worked full-time jobs, which he still does. I work 2 days a week.
Must be nice.
I work 7 days a week, but 2 days a week in a consulting job. But we did all of this ourselves. Hired our first employee and didn't know how we were going to pay her, and
Wow.
ended up being able to pay her.
Yeah.
Hired a second person. Was like, there's no way we're going to be able to pay two people.
It's a scary thing.
it's
to think
scary.
about sometimes.
If you're responsible as a business owner to pay people.
Yeah.
Because I know.
You got to pay your people
know
first
what,
before you pay yourself, which is scary.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we pay people before we got paid.
Yeah.
And so even today we push most of our profits back into our business for growth. And so that is literally, I think, what helped Bourbon Royalty to grow. I also think we have a really good product, and there's been some variations and some changes which has made it better. But we've developed really good relationships, and we just literally have invested a lot into our company. And that's what's helped us to grow by being able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a couple more thoughts to go off of, but we have a couple of comments that came through. So we have Suzette Fowler. She says, Rusty is an outstanding social worker too.
Suzette and I work together.
There you go. I've worked with him for years, and he needs kudos for that too.
So, I don't know if you can say it or not, but Suzette is a local business owner in town
Yep.
as well, too. You probably know
Yeah.
her.
Camp Bow Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. A great little company.
I remember we were both working together, and she showed me her business card, and it was a little bone, and I was like, what is this? This is so interesting.
Yeah. Like,
So, yeah.
like, give me a bone.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then we got the queen herself, Anita Begnode. This is literally all she says, all caps, grapefruit.
Grapefruit. So the story behind that is switch to Bougie. Bougie shut down. We were dependent on customers coming in. We thought after we literally was crying, well, Jamie was crying.
Yeah,
And Bougie Bar,
I was like,
honestly,
we just opened.
I was
and
just
like,
trying to
what
hold
are
it
we
together.
going to do?
We literally had just come off of a 3-month end of year with Bougie going, great, let's extend for a year and see what happens. Did that, and then COVID came and we stopped. And so after we kind of, finished crying and thinking that we're going to lose everything that we had been working extremely hard for, we said, well, we have to pivot. Okay, we have to do something.
There's that word.
So
Oh, no. That
We-
word has been going around a lot.
I know, but it's literally we had to pivot. So we started doing Facebook Lives at Bougie Bar, and Anita, I think, was one of our first guests. So here's what we would do: we would literally make cocktails and pour candles and
That's
just
what it was
talk.
called. It was called
It's called
Cocktails,
Cocktails
and Candles. And so we would do Facebook Lives, I think
So,
every Wednesday. Every
yeah.
Wednesday or every other Wednesday. And just bring in somebody from
Yeah.
the area just to come in and hang out so we could try and keep,
Yeah.
our customers who would come into the Bougie Bar
Just
engage in
entertain.
some sort of way.
Right.
Or
So,
just give them something to laugh at while they're at home.
Grapefruit comes from she likes palomas. So we went out, we got the tequila, we got the grapefruit, we did all this stuff, and then we realized we'd had to start like squeezing the grapefruit and all this. So we just went with like a little pre-mix before, but we had the absolute best time. Anita's
And
great.
also
It was
grapefruit
good.
was the drinking word.
Oh, it was
So
yes.
every time we did a show on
All
Facebook,
right.
we had a word. So every time
Yeah.
we said that word, we had to take a sip of our drink.
All right.
So
And
needless
individuals at home had to take a sip of their drink.
needless to say, we
said
were
grapefruit a lot.
we
that
said a
night.
lot of grapefruit.
Yeah. Obviously, fond memories because grapefruit, all caps.
Yeah, grapefruit was the word.
All right. Okay. So you mentioned Bougie Bar. I want to talk about that, and then we will go ahead and close out in just a little bit because it's been almost an hour already. It feels like
Wow.
it just started.
Just started.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm not Joe Rogan. I can't do 4 hours. All right. So Bougie Bar started. I can't remember exactly what year was it. Was
2019.
it 2019?
Yeah,
Okay.
October of 2019.
So I remember covering Bougie Bar,
Mhm.
and initially, Bougie Bar was a test run. It was a
Yes.
test business for you guys. It was on Buchanan Street,
Mhm.
behind Tsunami.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had essentially the space that you went into was being utilized as a pop-up business space
Yeah.
for a while there. And you guys said, we're going to try this concept out where you have a party come in and it's not like a DIY candle making party. And the whole DIY party thing is still
Mhm.
big today with
It is.
paintings and stuff like that. So you guys did that. You had a test run for about, I think, was it 3 months?
Mhm.
Yeah, so October to December of 2019.
Yeah, and I remember you telling me that it worked out great. It was a big hit, and you guys are going to sign your first lease. And that was a huge step. So tell us a little bit about how you guys came up with the Bougie Bar. And
I'll give you that story.
all right, yeah, look,
Because we're running out
So
of
we have
time,
to we have to
Rusty.
do it quickly. So basically, we had no months worth of work, business planning. None of that happened. We were literally downtown for art walk, walking in and out, sipping free wine or whatever. And we'd come out of it was a little gallery at the time, right next to the beer garden. And we came out, and Jamie said, we should open a candle making bar downtown. We had talked about this off and on for
So we
years.
have had candle parties
Yeah.
in our physical
Warehouse.
warehouse
Okay.
before with like groups of friends and stuff like that. So we've kind of
Dabbled in it,
experienced
yeah.
it a little bit.
So
but
I've
not
never been
much.
a one-word answer person. I'm a social worker. You have to talk and listen
Mhm.
a lot, right? And I just said, yeah, we should do that. I come
That's
home
all I
from work.
needed.
Come
That's
home
all
from
I
work the
needed.
next day, and he's like, "Come on, let's get in the car. We're gonna go look at a space. Space? What? Why do we have to look at a space?" And so we literally looked at it. It was what we needed. It had a bar built in already. Michelle Ezel with Tsunami owned it at the time, and she was gracious. She let us move in and try it for 3 months. We literally had 3 weeks to open. So we opened in 3 weeks, and between the second Friday of October and December 31st, we saw 1,000 people.
wow.
We literally just created the Facebook page, did some advertising on 99.9 with CJ.
And Debbie Ray at the time, right? What?
CJ and Jen.
Oh, Debbie Ray had already retired.
Yeah,
I think she
CJ and
was
Jen.
on, yeah.
They helped us blow it up, and it just that's how it started. So it was not a well thought out thing. It was a fly by the seat of your pants.
Look, it
experience.
looks well thought out. It looks like
I
it.
try. So I'm the planner when it comes to things like that. And then Rusty, as you can tell, Rusty is the social butterfly. So he's the one, I always say, shaking hands and kissing babies and keeping the guests happy and really having fun with them and making sure
Yeah.
that they're taken care of. And I'm the one kind of behind the scenes. Okay, it's this time. We need to do.
Keep in order.
We need to
Yeah.
do this. I always think of things that people don't think about. So
Yeah.
that's just one of my weird things. I just think of really random weird things.
Okay. So, the word bougie has not the greatest, I guess, reputation as far as like in general, like culture. Bougie means like you're trying to be something that you're not, essentially.
Yeah.
But bougie actually has a real meaning, and it's, from what I understand, it's candle. It's
So I mean,
Parisian French, bougie spelt the way that our store is named, Bougie, is candle, and Parisian French. So if you would like to be bougie, as in uppity or trying to be something else, that's actually spelled Boujee.
Oh yeah, bougie.
With a comma to the top.
Yeah, there's a comma to the top. So there is a difference. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I wanted to make sure people knew that because I'll be honest, when people I'm describing your business to people and or if I'm trying to get approval of like, hey, I think this would be good to mention. I'd say the Bougie Bar and the word bar and bougie in front of it. I want to make sure they understand like it's not a drinking bar.
So we wanted to go with something more like candle bar. That was actually already trademarked in another state. So we wanted to make sure we had ours locked down. And the next best thing was, well, it's Louisiana, it's French, let's go with bougie. So that's why we say the Bougie Bar, and then our tagline says Wix Wine.
Wix Wax Wine.
Wix Wax Wine.
And then, also we have our other motto or saying is the perfect candle making experience.
So that was definitely an initial hurdle, like in an initial advertising, like, wait, it's a bar? We'd have people come in and say, I was telling my husband I was going here, and he's like, "You're not going to a bar, you know?"
Yeah. We've had people walk in and sit at our bar when we were on Buchanan Street and ask for a drink, wine.
Yeah, like they want a cocktail.
Yeah. I'm like, oh well,
it's not.
You have to go to Jefferson Street for that.
Yeah, you got to go there first, come back,
then come back. Yeah.
Wow, but so you have wine, obviously, correct?
No,
it's BYOB.
So,
Okay, BYOB.
Yeah.
Okay,
we're a BYOB establishment, so we don't sell or serve alcohol.
But if y'all did, it would be a hurdle to jump through.
Yeah, you would have to go through all of the requirements in order to be a bar. And we just figure like we've got our thing that we do. There's plenty bars and restaurants in downtown area.
Support those.
Yeah.
That, our business has been fortunate to be able to send parties to and from
several businesses.
Typically what we see downtown is parties will come to us, and then they'll go either to one of the restaurants or the bars or go shop a little bit. They'll spend a couple hours, wait for the candles to get set, and then they come back and pick it up. So it's been neat being able to, in a way, partner with other businesses, downtown.
Yeah. So you guys opened the Bougie Bar, signed your first lease, did a couple of years there, essentially, and then recently got a new space. You moved from Buchanan Street.
Yeah. We don't like the status quo, apparently.
Apparently not. Like, hey, but you know what? If you're, there was a phrase I was looking for. I blanked out. But anyway, you're changing for the better. It's almost like a butterfly. You're going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. What possessed you guys to leave a space that made you successful?
Yeah.
To going to a space that is highly coveted, on Jefferson Street. Everybody wants to be on Jefferson Street. What was the thought process behind that?
I think it's exactly what you just said. Everybody wants to be on Jefferson Street. Okay. So I mean, we loved our space on Buchanan Street, but we realized, we do retail sales in our store. So at the time, downtown doesn't really have a true gift shop per se. We have Robin's store, which has a lot of home decor and stuff like that, but we wanted to bring in some fun, funky gifts. So the space on Jefferson Street not only allows us to get more foot traffic, to get more visibility downtown, but also to offer, downtown a unique shopping experience as well. If somebody's looking for a fun, unique gift, candles, I mean, anything.
So the whole idea was to build out a gift shop in the front and also to do a drop-in candle bar as well, because we get people, that would just wander in off of Buchanan and say, well, can I make a candle today? Or, somebody vacationing would stop.
And
we've seen
they didn't know
from,
they needed to make a plan.
Germany, France,
One family from, I think, France
Yeah.
walked in
And
they
just
just
saw
wanted
it.
to make a candle, and we didn't have a party going on that time, so we were able to accommodate them.
Okay, so you didn't turn them away.
No.
So,
Correct. So the
Okay.
idea in the new space, we can, have the benefit of being on Jefferson, build out the gift store, have a walk-in, and still get to do our candles
parties in the back.
parties in the back.
So the way the
that's
space
why.
is built out, in the very front, it's kind of at an angle, and that's where the walk-in space is, and it will be waiting on chairs.
Waiting on
The
chairs.
name of the game, waiting
Name
on
of the
furniture.
game, yeah.
But yeah, we'll have a table in the front of the store for up to 6 guests, just to be able to, if somebody's walking down the street and they want to come in and make a candle, they aren't part of a social or a private party, we have that ability now to allow them just to walk in off of the street, no reservations, and make a candle during our hours.
Yeah. I think that's great. I think that's great to be able to offer that because, some people are just kind of live by their seat of their pants and, they're walking down the street and they're drinking, having a good time. And just to have that ability to be like, you know what, let's do this real quick instead of having to make the plan. Because when people are having fun, most people don't plan to have fun.
Yeah.
Most people are having fun in the moment and they're just like, let's do this. Like, it's like going to Vegas. Like, let's get a tattoo or let's get married. Like, you don't plan that in Vegas. You just
do it, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So.
We also do refills too. So, we'll have customers who have come to parties. They can burn their candle out. They can bring it in. So this way now they can either drop it off or they can hang out with us and pour their own candle again.
That's awesome. All right. So we're wrapping it up here, but I got a question for you guys, and I'm trying to understand why. Why are you guys still working other jobs?
Okay, so I'll give you my take on that. Jamie is the true entrepreneur. I am not. All right. I, come from a blue collar family. You work hard. You know what you're.
Did you plow fields?
I did not plow fields, but my dad is a retired pipe fitter,
Okay.
and so we worked with him in his shop.
There you go,
every day.
yeah.
We always had summer jobs and that type of stuff. So for me, I like the comfort of I know I have this paycheck coming in every day.
Yeah.
And so that's what's always been nice, just from my perspective. My job actually changed in 2019 when the company I worked for was sold to a huge company. And so we didn't go with that transition. And so I've been doing consulting since then, which was hard for me to go from 5 days a week to, I do 2 days a week right now for a local company that I work with. So that's my role. I can tell you right now, and Jamie can tell you more. If it was up to him, neither one of us would be working full time, and we would just be both in our businesses.
Yeah.
Which will come, I think sooner
it'll come,
than later.
It'll come one day. And I think for me, working for Blue Cross, I've been with the company for almost 10 years. So I always like to say I kind of grew up both personally and professionally at Blue Cross. I started when I was 23. So, Blue Cross has a definite work-life balance structure. They've been, very flexible. If I need to take PTO to go to markets, I have that option because it's my time. I can take it. It's PTO.
Right.
But, just having the flexibility, I work for an amazing company, amazing team. And we also have amazing employees and a steady, constant team at both Bourbon Royalty and Bougie Bar that can keep it running without Rusty or myself there on a day-to-day basis. As we continue to grow and we open Baton Rouge, and then, we may open several more Bougie Bars, a few years from now, that day may come when I do leave. But it's just hard right now for me to kind of leave something that I've been there for 10 years and I still enjoy doing, and it's a steady paycheck.
It's also what you really are passionate about. So I definitely have gotten passionate about growing our business. But we're grateful that we've been able to employ people to do a lot of the work that we used to have to do. Yeah. So we can focus our energy in a different way now. So I can do 2 days a week, consulting and individual sessions and that stuff. Jamie can still focus on his work. He gets to work remote, so he's not commuting every day. There'll come a day where we will have to readjust that, but I mean, as long as we have energy and
Oh,
don't lose too much of our hair, it turns too gray.
Right,
You know,
right.
it's
Yeah.
just fun. You know, I
It
like
is.
different avenues and different streams. So,
Okay. So you guys, this at the moment,
Mhm.
because you guys are kind of those people who kind of sometimes dart, obviously.
Yes.
This seems to be the road into the future. You're planning on staying on this highway.
Correct. Bourbon Royalty grew by 69% last year.
That's
That's
a
a
lot.
big number.
Mhm.
We want to do the same thing this year. So we're very ambitious. We're hardworking. Our motto is we keep our head down. We work hard. We try to support local businesses ourselves. We have a couple nonprofits that we work with. We believe in, our community and businesses that we support. And that's what we do. We try to treat our customers well. We don't always get everything right, but we fix it.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what I'll do at times. A customer gets something that's not right. No problem. Let's fix it. Let's make it work. And so by building relationships, having a quality product, and just having rapport with people is what has helped us to grow. So we've gone from a place where we'd go to market and hope that we got orders to now we feel pretty confident that when we get there, we'll beat the last market's goals. And that's what has continued to happen. So that's like the formula for us, man. We like what we do.
Mhm.
Time, in my mind, never plays out because it doesn't matter to me. I wake up and it's what I'm doing today, whether it's a Saturday, a Sunday, or during the week. When you like what you do, it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I know we got to wrap up, but just to add to that, one thing that we've always done is we've grown at our own pace.
Yeah.
So we've always, managed our growth as, to what we can handle at that point in time. So, that's one of the things people always ask, what's your best piece of advice for other people who want to start a business or grow a business, is grow at what you're comfortable with. Don't try and grow just for, what the public will see, but grow at something that you're comfortable with and you can handle and be successful at.
Yeah. Some people want to grow fast.
Yeah.
They want to have the overnight success.
Yeah, it
When
doesn't happen.
No, a
It
true
doesn't.
overnight success story is 10, 20 years in the making.
Yeah.
People don't see the hard
Mhm.
parts of getting started.
True
Yeah.
small businesses, you have to control your growth so that you can continue to be successful. If you have some big investment company behind you, you can grow rapidly within months. That's not how we did it. We used our own money. We sourced everything ourselves, and we literally grew at a pace we knew that we could support.
Yeah.
And that's what's helped us to be successful. I think.
And growing too fast, I mean, you can get it can get out of hand. You can get
Mhm.
it can get ahead of you, and
Yeah,
yeah.
you can go to
And then you
market.
lose control.
Go to market and you write, 300 orders and you can't fill them.
right.
Well, as a shop owner, they want their order within 3 weeks, a month at the most during market. If you're taking 6 to 8, 12 weeks, they're going to cancel those orders.
And they'll
So
go somewhere
you'll
else.
have all of that money that you've spent and you've created all of this product. And when you go to ship it, they're not going to want it. So, you really have to be mindful and strategic about your business and how you grow it.
Definitely. All right. So last part, I'm going to show you guys the websites for the Bougie Bar and Bourbon Royalty Candle Company to kind of let you know where to go to find out more information. So on your screen right now, you can see the Bougie Bar Wix Wax Wine. It's their logo, and then you can see all about them. You can book a party. You can join a social party. You can get gift cards, T-shirts. They got a wonderful little website with the video playing, kind of get an idea of what a party there would look like. And you can book, like I said, you can book online. They have a little button where you can message them. So if you have any information, if you want to book a party, you can definitely do that on their website. And then, let me tell you the website name. Sorry. It's mybougiebar.com. And I believe, does that also include Baton Rouge? Or are you making a separate website for Baton
It'll
Rouge?
be the same website.
Same website?
Same website, it'll have a tab for Baton Rouge under the bookings.
Got it. And the Facebook page is those where it's different. Is it My Bougie Bar BR?
Facebook is the Bougie Bar Baton Rouge
Okay.
for Baton Rouge, and then the one here in Lafayette is just the Bougie Bar right now.
Got it. And then their Bourbon Royalty website it's simply bourbonroyalty.com, and you can check that out there. You can actually buy direct from your website, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
you don't have to go to one of the many stores that you guys are in. You can buy directly from them, which is also always a great play for any businesses to have direct to consumer. You can look at all their scents there. I mean, their fragrances, scents, fragrances, all the same thing.
Yeah.
Well,
As long as you're buying it, you can call
Right,
it whatever
right.
you want.
and look, I mean, you can see a list of their scents here. I mean, Acadia, Back Porch, that sounds cool. You got Orleans Tea. You know what? Orleans.
Orleans tea.
Yeah, Orleans. Look, this is definitely off the scent chart that you guys have. But whenever my family and we would go to Bourbon Street,
Mm-hmm.
there's always this.
Distinct.
Well, there's always this puddle of water
Yeah.
somewhere
Yes.
on Bourbon Street or anywhere in the French
Which you
Quarter.
stay away from.
Yes, you stay away from. You don't wear flip flops.
No.
So Orleans Tea, even
it does
though
not smell like that.
right, right. So what I was getting at is the word Orleans Tea or Orleans Tea. God, it sounds so weird, but made me think of something I used to call those puddles of water on Bourbon Street. Let me put it back on us here. I had it on the website the whole time. Okay. I used to call those puddles of water, and I still do call it this because it is what it is, bourbon butter. That's what
Yeah.
That's one way of describing it, I would imagine.
And I tell people, you want to stay away from the bourbon butter. And they're like, what is bourbon butter? I said, you see that green floating stuff right
That
there?
stuff
So
right there.
I'll take 10%, but that needs to be your next T-shirt.
Oh!
Bourbon butter and a puddle of water.
All right, you're going to get 10% royalties. All right. Oh, God. All right, look, this episode was great, and I'm glad the audio seems to be holding up. Carter here giving me the thumbs up. So if you guys enjoyed this podcast, we have also the audio versions on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all those other places where you can get your podcast. And, of course, the Facebook page, you can watch it and listen to it there as well. And I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel for it because I'm not doing anything on YouTube
Might
for
as
it. And I
well.
think I
Yeah.
might as well.
Yep.
It's just easy to upload it. So, yeah, so if you don't want to watch a video, you have the audio version. So if you want to listen to in your car, just want to listen at work without having to watch a video, because I know you can't keep a video on Facebook for an hour. You really just want to start just thumbing through the feed. So I get it. But yeah, so subscribe there and listen to the audio versions. They're the same show. I don't edit anything out. I just add an intro and outro to it, so you get exactly what you're watching here. Jamie, Rusty, it was great to have you on. I loved talking with you guys. You guys are so easy to talk to. Every time we've ever been together, I think we've hung out for hours, and I'm like, I gotta go.
I gotta go, right?
Like we're chatty Cathy's, and I gotta control my time. My wife tells me that all the time. You're sucking at time management. So
I may be told that quite often.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
Lord.
Yeah, Rusty's time management skills aren't the best sometimes.
look, you're a person of order. He's a person of talking.
That
So
is correct.
that's
Yeah.
it. Well, yeah. Anyway, great having you on, and
Thank
I
you.
hope that you guys had a great time too.
Yeah, it was fun.
was
Thanks for
great.
having us.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, that is it, and we'll see you on the next one.